Just then I feel eyes on me as I contemplate the absurdity of the situation, and I find difficulty in trying to tear my eyes away from the two dancing. I manage. I regret looking away. The woman from the garden stands beside me! Greetings, my beautiful viewers! I am the Hunter of Comedy, and welcome back to The Letter. So, last time, Luke had a little run-in with the ghost when she wasn't in her ghostly form, when she was in, like, her more human form. I mean, yeah, eventually did get, fucked up and scary towards the end, but I mean, like, we've learned a lot about how much she was obsessed with and loved the previous lord of the mansion, and how much she did not like how unkind Lady Charlotte was to her, who eventually, accused her of being a witch and had her burned at the stake. And I'm guessing it is that grudge which caused this whole mess to begin. But, I'm not certain. No way for me to know for sure. But we now have an even bigger hurdle to deal with. In the form of... wait for it. Kylie. Let's replay that again.
Good morning to you, Luke.
Speak of the devil and she shall appear. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, Kylie grins at me as soon as I open the bedroom door. She swings the backpack she's clutching, hitting my leg in a show of impatience and looking entirely unapologetic for it.
Did you just wake up? Oh, tell me you forgot. It's our play date today.
I doubt I'd forget. Kylie's visits are a frequent enough thing that they've found a way into my schedule. They're supposed to be visits to her godmother. But we can't pick who a child gets along with. So long as I'm not busy, her father can drop her off for the whole day. Which is all well and good for me if it makes Suarez focus on the work I've given him. Besides, she's a bright child. Tolerable. Kid's got a good head on her shoulders and can get pretty mature for her age at times. Of course, they have to thank me for that. Her parents can take partial credit, but Hannah and I have been there for this kid since she was just a small babe. Why, I can still remember the first time I saw her. It was during her baptism. The only reason I was there was to accompany Hannah, who was to be named godmother. She was such a tiny thing, not even a year old, swaddled in her mother's arms and white cloth. It was the first time I saw an infant up close enough to hold one at least. It had been terrifying to be given a little child to carry after the whole water ceremony. I've never done so before that, to hold a tiny life in my arms. I could have just dropped her in her head, and this little tyke before me would have stopped existing then and there. But the child just smiled at me, babbling nonsensical words as children do, and clinging to me as hard as I tried to hand her off to Hannah. She had thought it hilarious and adorable. My suit had been a mess, and I was nearly an anxious wreck by the time I handed her back to her mother. Yet, it was pleasant, too. To think I might be doing it again soon, with Hannah's children, with our children, kids of my own flesh and blood. A few months' time, I'll be cradling them in my arms, hearing the ring of their laughter against my ears. It's a tender thing to think about. And despite myself, in spite of all the fears that I will never be good enough for them, I'm I'm actually looking forward to it.
Of course I didn't, you little rugrat. I just had to take care of something before you arrived.
Really? Well, I guess that's fine. As long as he told me for work like last time.
Really? Now why don't we go back down and have breakfast in the parlor?
I already ate at home. Papa made one of his tortilla de patatas. He wouldn't let me leave until I finished every bite.
Ah, the Suarez infamous tortilla de la patas. Those things are a hazard. You can probably use one to bludgeon someone into submission with how huge they are. It's a miracle Kylie can be so energetic. I had trouble staying awake the first time I had one. Speaking of staying awake...
Well, I need some coffee in me at the very least. But if you'd like, you can jump straight to dessert.
Yes! Dessert, please!
It's easy enough to manage Kylie with the promise of sweets, thankfully. Yes, get them addicted early. That way the corporate money machine of never being able to be far from sweets will, of course, have a bright future in her. It's sad but true. Sad but true. The hard part is managing her before she gets the sweets, because I nearly have a heart attack when the kid races down the stairs. Just the thought of her slipping and breaking her neck is enough to rush me down after her.
Oh, slow down! The food isn't going anywhere.
The food is going somewhere. In my tummy.
Jesus fucking Christ. Children.
I feel like I missed something.
The food is going somewhere. In my tummy.
I missed the laugh. I like that laugh. With a shake of my head, I usher Kylie towards the parlor and order a maid to bring food for us. Whatever breakfast there is, along with a cup of coffee for me and an ice cream for Kylie. But I can't leave the kid alone for too long, unless I want to let her turn the other into a slaughter ground. True to my expectations, I've only left Kylie alone for a few minutes, but she's already made herself comfortable. The stuff from her backpack has been left scattered across the room, from coloring books and crayons to toys. She's well equipped to amuse herself with no trouble, though I can certainly breathe a little easier if she wouldn't bring her doll along every time she visits. Norsika or Sisa is a creepy little bugger. Doesn't help when Kylie left her during one. Finding the thing at the bottom of the stairs staring up at me at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning is a memory that won't leave me anytime soon. Even now, it stares at me from where it's seated. I'm wholly tempted to just throw the thing into the fireplace and banish it from whence it came. I can buy her a prettier doll. A better toy. I will break it. Find a way to get rid of it. If it isn't from Hana, and only Kylie isn't so attached to it. The thing is some antique doll she found for the brat's 6th birthday. One of a kind. My darling Hana loves her so much. And Kylie does try to be a good goddaughter. But she just can't keep her interest long with the wife. It's not something that Hana does wrong on her part. She does try very, very hard. It's just that she doesn't quite know how to really handle children. She's never been around other children when she was young, and surrounded by protective adults who catered to her every whim and worried for her safety every minute. When she isn't able to keep up with Kylie, her first instinct is to be strict. Impose rules on the child, treat her as if she's made of spun glass, like every movement might break her. I, at least, have some idea from being around street kids. I know the games they've played and how they think. I know that scraps and skinned knees are all part of childhood. Even with how I grew up, I had a time to be a child and not some sheltered heiress. With Kylie? Has behaved as she can be with her toys and her books and arts. She has to use up all her energy somehow. To run around the playground and make a fuss in the mud or even just fake wrestle for a short while. Let her be a child when she wants, I'll say. If it becomes too much, just bribe her with sweets or ship her back to her papa. Problem solved. Unfortunately, Hana isn't quite up for those sort of things most of the time, thinking it'll spoil the child. It turns the whole playdate awkward every time. Taking the last seat left, I pluck one of her coloring books from the table to see it filled with dinosaurs. Not exactly what I expected to see for a little girl, but it doesn't hurt anyone. If she wants to play with dolls and cars, or dolls with their cars, what do I care? She wouldn't put dolls tutus on model cars, even.
Oh, this is a new one. The last one you had was filled with horses, wasn't it?
Those were ponies, Tio. They're much cuter than horses. But we went to a dinosaur zoo, and it was awesome! Dinosaurs are my favorite.
I have no idea what that is, but it must be something. I'm only familiar with the T-Rex myself.
Yeah, they found, fossils of its claws. They're really long. They think the whole theory might be a bazillion meters tall, even bigger than a T-Rex. Cisa says it'll be big enough to eat all my classmates.
She only laughs as I scrunch up my nose and grimace.
Takako says you're making a really funny face.
Taka who?
Takako, a friend I made.
I have to stop and look around, accepting one of the help to be there. The child does have a way of befriending just about anyone, as long as she puts her mind to it. Yet the two of us are completely alone. Thankfully, she only finds my disturbing look has another funny grown-up expression. That might be a lot more problematic whether she plays with dolls or cars, though. Both the thoughts of Cisa giving Kylie ideas, and one said idea being massacre by dinosaur. Something I probably need to bring up with her father, aside from work. But beyond murderous dinosaurs, creepy dolls, and imaginary friends, I find no trouble with Kylie. She's as energetic and precocious as any tyke her age can be. She's an angel if she can get comfy and settled in after getting sweets. We tuck into our waffles as soon as food is brought in. Our waffles, because she wanted her own plate to go with the ice cream as soon as she saw mine. A fresh plate of berries is brought in as well, which really goes great with the rest of this feast, as Kylie puts it. And if I indulge in the sweetness, I have a cup of black coffee to pair it off with. With our bellies full, Kylie grows content with just scribbling on scrap paper and calmly chatting about her week. She talks of her older brother Rowan and their parents, how they plan to go to the Bloxland in Berkshire for the winter holidays. She talks of Miss Pink, and I have to shift my legs to become comfortable once more. The memory of my initial meeting with her still fresh on my mind. Oh, God. He's just imagining that moment like, oh, right, she hit me in the nuts. Right, I remember that. That was beautiful. She talks of the sad man in the park and of her new friend who likes to play hide and seek when she's not sniffing in the loo. When finally she finds nothing new to talk about, she goes back to her drawing. That'll change as soon as her stomach settles, of course. The calm before the storm. Because, behaved as she is right now, I can feel the curiosity just radiating off her. There's a restlessness buzzing under her skin, and a question on the tip of her tongue, as they often are with children her age. But, for now, I can take this piece with no complaint for however long it stays. I have fun with the crayons as well, at the child's insistence. Even if I can't really draw. With Kylie using the black crayon, that leaves me with the blue one. I absentmindedly start to draw a puppy to the best of my abilities. It's as I attempt to draw the doodle dog another eye that Kylie breaks her silence.
Tio? Where did Tia go? I saw them leave when I got here. Tia didn't look so good.
I've been expecting a lot of different questions, but the kid always has a bunch of them ready for me. But I can only sigh when she poses this particular one.
She's just going to the doctor's for a checkup.
And as kids go, these are followed-up questions.
And you didn't go with her?
Well, you were going to be here, sweetie, so I had to stay behind.
So she's all alone? at the hospital?
Oh, no, of course not. Tia has Johans and her maid and a guard. She's got plenty of company.
Yeah, but you're not with her.
If I didn't know better, I'd say the kid is trying to make me feel guilty. I want to say that little tyke is evil for making me feel so.
But I understand. When I get sick, Papa and Mama have to leave me with their maids, too.
Well, they don't take care of you?
That doesn't sound right. Even my mom took care of me when I was sick as a child.
Well, they're always busy with work.
Oh, I see. I guess that's no good.
I know she doesn't mean to accuse me of anything. But as her father's boss, maybe I do overwork Suarez a bit. There's a lot of responsibilities that only he is capable of carrying out. Delegation is a thing, sure, but when said responsibilities are legally questionable at best, putting others to the task isn't always an option. But
Maybe your papa is in need of some vacation time. He deserves it, doesn't he? He's a hard worker. I could arrange something for the holidays.
I could cut him some slack. Some of his assignments can wait. Can't do much for her mum. She isn't one of my employees. But this would have to suffice. It would be worth it if it makes the little girl happy. Because just like that, the somber look on her face turns into one of pure joy. It's like looking at a little sun, warm and bright. It's nice to do something kind every now and then.
Would you really, Teal?
Would you like that?
I'd like that very much, yeah! We can go to this museum! There's one with lots of cool trains and planes! I like trains!
I like trains. That is a meme. That is a meme.
And there's the local Manor theme park! And a monkey forest! There's a kid adventure farm too, the wacky warehouse, and a play barn as well, and...
Whoa, slow down there, Munchkin. I know you're excited, but I think you should let me schedule your dad's day off before you plan a whole year's worth of stuff.
There's an embarrassed giggle, but she does reel herself in. Enough to calm down, which is a feat in and of itself. It's obvious how giddy she is. And she wasn't looking forward to the holidays before, like any child should. She does now. And if she wasn't looking forward.
I think Tia would be really happy if you were with her. You could have told me you needed to go to the hospital with her, Teal. I won't be angry.
I'd love to be with her, but I wanted to spend time with you, Munchkin. And she told me to stay. Besides, I don't like hospitals. They always smell like alcohol. Not the good kind either.
I don't think anybody likes hospitals. They're scary.
Yes, they are! Yes, they are, little girl! Dear Christ, if there's ever a haunted hospital in a video game or something, I freak the fuck out. So years ago I played Fear 2, which is still one of my favorite games, and there's a moment when, like, the game starts and you're in, like, a hospital. You are in, like a hospital, and there's a creepy ghost lady trying to get after your giblets, you know, and, dear God, I did not do well in that level. I panic if it's, like, a hospital-type setting. I think it has to do with the fact that, when I was younger, I had 3 life-saving surgeries when I was a teenager. When I was 16, I had a medical condition that flared up, and surgery took care of it. And then 18, it came back. And then, well, the third one wasn't, like, technically, like, life-threatening. When I was 20 years old, I had a hernia, like a double hernia. There were 2 hernias in the same spot, and it was not good. So yeah, you know, hospitals have always scared the fuck out of me because, after my first surgery, what happened was, you know when you're in the hospital and you're in one of those hospital beds, my mother really did, like, you know, come to my rescue at the best time, because, like, you know, I was in and out because, you know, I had very difficult, painful surgery, and this was the hernia. This was the hernia surgery, and I was in a lot of pain. Like, a lot of pain. And, essentially what happened was that my mother picked up the, corded phone back when, you know, cell phones were not as prevalent, and set it literally, like, at my side in my bed with me so that I could reach it. And she said that if anything happened, she would have her phone by her all night, and I could call her. And it was a good thing she did that, because the nurse call button was broken. The nurse call button at my bed was broken, and when I hit that button, no one came. I hit it for over an hour, and the pain was getting excruciating. I was calling because I wanted them, because, at this point they could pump more, they could give me more morphine or whatever it was. Can't remember what it was. It wasn't morphine, but it was like something to dull the pain. And, I called my mom. I picked up that phone. I called her at I want to say it was 2 in the morning, 2 or 3 in the morning. And I told them, Mom, I can't, the nurses aren't coming. And she said, I'm going to take care of this, sweetie. Don't you worry. And she hung up on me. She called the place, told them my room, told them what was going on. And I'm not kidding you, within just a couple minutes, door opens up and there's a nurse going, oh, I did not know our button was broken. And she gave me a brand new button, literally gave me a brand new thing, put more morphine in me, and I finally got to sleep for that night because I was just in pain for hours. Oh, God. So yeah, hospitals are scary as fuck. So yeah, no, I'm with you, little girl. Fuck hospitals, man.
But you said Tia is brave and strong.
She is.
That she is.
Yeah. A content smile comes over us as we go back to scribing. Though I stop when I'm done with my blue dog, cringing at how awful it looks. Kylie reprimands me for that because I should be like her. The little tyke goes through several sheets of paper, one drawing after another. Practicing, she says. Because practice makes perfect. Not to mention there's a drawing contest coming up in class. She just has to beat Tim from Class D, who says girls can't be superheroes. Yeah, fuck Tim! Fuck Tim! I just saw Captain Marvel, and despite what other people have been saying about it, it is a pretty good movie. It wasn't the best movie ever, but it was a damn good Marvel movie, and I really enjoyed it. So that's gonna clue you in as about what time this video was recorded. The clay gets a turn too, when we start sculpting food and pretending we're Michelin chefs. When we're too tired from tossing pizza and making cakes, there's no trouble in finding another activity more relaxing for the both of us. I found myself invested in reading The Picture of Dorian Gray once more. Often I lose myself in the pages of the book. However, it is rather difficult to do so when also trying to keep an eye and ear out for Kylie. I've been reading the same paragraph over and over again, even. Inexplicably, I can feel my skin crawl when the girl sits with Narcissa by the parlor's fireplace, humming, singing. Although I ignore it long enough to hear only the tail end of the song.
Everything is up in flames, up in flames, up in flames. Everything is up in flames, my fair lady.
I don't remember a lot about London Bridge, but maybe that is a part of the song, but I don't remember that part of the song. I only know the first part of it. Oh well. I don't think I can spend any more time with Kylie considering how high-strung I feel. What's this? What's this? What's this? Oh, I missed it. Oh, we're getting close to the moment when Ashton's gonna decide to come in. Oh, I'm sad that this is no longer right next to that. That makes me kind of sad. But I do like that. That picture is beautiful. I love it. With Hannah away for a checkup, Luke was left alone to watch over his godchild, Kylie Suarez. However, what was supposed to be a simple babysitting turned awkward when the precious child began spouting bizarre things. Oh no. So it is a good thing that Suarez came for her as soon as I've called. Though it is earlier than we agreed upon, he voices no complaint. The bastard even has a look of relief as soon as they left. Or at least I interpret it as such from where I have stood by one of the windows, not bothering to step out and greet the man. No doubt he still doesn't trust me around his spawn. Well, he has every right to be suspicious of me. I am a dangerous man, after all. But, to my chagrin, That leaves me with the rest of the day with nothing to do. Well, aside from picking up the mess Kylie left scattered about the parlor. She left the doll again, didn't she? Dear God, I hope she didn't. To my immense relief, she remembered to take her doll home with her this time. The same cannot be said of the crayons and papers littered here and there. First things first. I snatch my own doodle off the table and rip it to shreds, leaving no hope that it will see the light of day. The rest of the drawings, all Kylie's, remain unharmed as I collect the lot. Though they had been stacked neatly on the table before, they must have blown off when Kylie left. And there are plenty of them. From cats and cakes to colorful rainbows and gardens, the child managed to make a lot during her morning here. But there is one more that I fish out of the fireplace where it landed. Expecting to see one of Kylie's masterpieces, I'm instead greeted with something a bit more concerning. Oh! Oh my god! So I kind of had a hint of this, but I think I'm getting it now. So, Takako. Takako is the name of the ghost. That is the ghost's name. That's why she said you haven't figured it out by now, because she's been talking through Kylie or something. God, that's so fucked up. There is me, and there is Kylie. The two of us side by side, smiling as stick figure selves stand in a nondescript field. That much I can ascertain without looking at the labels below the doodle's feet. But a third figure stands next to me in the drawing. A woman, with a face hidden behind a black curtain. A curtain of black, sorry. Takako, the writing under her supplies.
Takako says you're making a really funny face.
One big happy family! Oh, fuck! Oh, this is bad! Oh, this is bad. Children are definitely a little more in tune with the spirit world than, I don't know why it is that in, horror stories, children are more attuned to the spirit world than adults are. Probably because of their innocence, maybe? I don't know. Whereas they see things supernatural, they don't think of it as odd, but we would? I don't know. I have no idea.
Takahu?
Takako, a friend I made.
The hairs on the back of my neck stand on end, and I feel a chill go down my spine. A breath that isn't mine. That has me turning around, expecting, hoping to see someone, anyone, but nothing. And that's when I hear it. Laughter, sweet and merry laughter ringing from the ballroom. Thinking about it has my cheeks burning and my blood running hot, as if I'm being mocked. As I stomp towards the door, I find myself shouting from... I have to stop myself from shouting up a storm. I expect to see some of the help dallying about, idle from their duties. Perhaps they thought they could slack off in their duties without the head butler around and with my preoccupation with Kylie. Well, they had another thing coming. But again, nothing. Nothing from what I can see with a cursory glance, at the very least. I roam around, looking for near impossible hiding spots, and still, I am all alone. And yet I can still hear the laughter. That accursed laughter, echoing about in the room, in my head.
Who's there? Show yourselves and show some respect to the master of the house!
Cold uneasiness settles into my stomach when no one answers. I stumble on my own 2 feet, feeling a wave of nausea come from nowhere. I have to put a hand against the wall to stay upright when the world shifts and pain explodes from behind my eyes. It takes every ounce of self-control not to heave then and there. The only thing my pride allowed me to do is to close my eyes and attempt to alleviate some of the pain. Vague, unfamiliar images, dare I say memories not mine, flash in my head, unbidden and unwelcome. Like a strong hammer strike to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. Whatever emotions they hold are muted. I am nothing but a spectator. Still, its weight feels palpable. Though it doesn't take long for these sensations to get into my head. Through my eyes and my ears, it creeps and buzzes in between. The spaces between. One after another, they come at me. An unending flood that threatens to sweep me away for what feels like an eternity. Each one, a show of both joy and suffering for those who call this mansion their home. Each new scene is like a hammer to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. I can feel every little emotion in the blurry images that present itself in my head. I feel a part of these, like I've lived through them, though I know that is not possible. All their anger burns through me, that much is evident, but the pain more so. And above all of it are the whispers, the voices calling, luring, till one image emerges in vivid contrast with the others. When there's a shout of joy, my eyes snap open looking for the culprit. That's when the whole room just changes. Everything is the same, yet everything isn't. There are people laughing and dancing. I should be concerned about them, but my mind finds it easy to dismiss as they fade in and out from nothingness. Instead, I find my concentration drawn to a man and woman, though one can only call them a lord and lady by their clothes. And oh, just how happy the couple looks. Though the man's eyes are eerily blank, like he's not all there. His face is familiar, though. In fact, they both are. I can't quite place why. The two make for a pretty picture as they dance in the center of the ballroom. Even the phantom crowd's attention stays on them. It reminds me so much of Hannah and I during the early days of our marriage. The honeymoon years, they call it. We were happy then, too. All smiles and her sunshine, even with the normal dreary weather. Younger, we had less to worry about, or at least thought that way. I wished we could go on that way, even with all I did and had to do. But life has a way of catching up, and there was work to be done. Although we had to stay the loving, perfect couple in public, I could not afford to look so weak. To appear tied down to someone else, to those who knew who I really am, I had to harden my heart when I have business. But it hadn't always been so easy just to switch that part of me on and off. I should be concerned with their intrusion, too. Ask what in bloody hell they're doing in my house, throwing a party as if they own the place. I asked myself how the fuck I didn't notice what was going on before, when the parlor and foyer are both only a few doors away. But I have the feeling that yelling and screaming at them won't do much of anything anyway. None of the others have given me notice. I realize this might not even be real. It dawns on me that these two are the people from the paintings, the ones over the mansion. Which makes sense. I don't think I'm imaginative enough to come up with this all on my own. This must be a dream. Or a really horrible high. Just then I feel eyes on me as I contemplate the absurdity of the situation, and I find difficulty in trying to tear my eyes away from the two dancing. I manage. I regret looking away. The woman from the garden stands beside me. I can hear her rattled breath, menacing and chilling. Everything in me screams to run, but something pins me to the spot as she just looks at me, watching and waiting. The clamor of their voices fill the ballroom. Although they say such welcoming words, I do not feel comforted by the madness I'm experiencing. Oh, dear God, that's just terrifying. The joyous voices turn sinister and foreboding to my ears. The chorus of people that shouldn't exist, threaten to overwhelm me drown me even as I stand on dry land. The music still plays as the Phantom Quartet continues while I stand here, vulnerable and afraid, but the dance has already ended. I'm afraid that I might just be tonight's entertainment. Tension is all well and good until bollocks like this goes down. Those phantom people watch me, thousands of eyes scrutinizing. Though they cheer for my return, cajole me to dance and join the merriment. There are eager hands all over, pulling me in every direction, but they do not move me enough to remove me from the woman's gaze.
Listen. Can you not hear them as they welcome you home? Your kind. Our kind. You're one of us, my love. We are bonded by the blood we share.
If I thought the voices were overwhelming before, it is nothing compared to how they are now. Their voices are loud, speaking in unison and echoing ever on in the spaces of my head. They welcome me back, as if I've always belonged, as if I was meant to be here in the first place. They call me all these titles and names that do not belong to me, and that man's face, the one with the empty eyes, flashes again before me. Once fleeting, like a new memory having burned itself in my mind. I have to struggle for air, and I come back to myself after.
I'm not. This isn't.
The look comes turning into screams of my protest, pained and desperate pleas for my help, telling me that it is my duty to stay, telling me that I belong among them, to them. Gentle touches turn near threatening, warning scratches and the baring of teeth by predators before they truly maim someone. My mouth goes dry as I struggle to speak some sense into this hallucinatory madness. I don't get the chance that they drown out my voice.
Our Lord, my Prince.
At her words, there's a compulsion to stay, while my heart races in my chest. The fear I should be experiencing refuses to register in my head. Mind and body war with each other, nearly tearing me in two. Oh, you finally returned to us. The compulsion to walk into her arms is strong. Whispers in my head tell me to go to her. They say she is safety. She is home and heart. We have been waiting for so long. But repulsed at these thoughts, I retch away and turn with a small gasp. Without hesitation, I start to make a run for it. I nearly falter when an angry shriek pierces the air, inhuman and monstrous. I don't dare turn back. I just run. I don't care if this is a drug-induced hallucination or not. Just run! Out of the ballroom. And out the parlor. It's only then that I bought to look back, hoping and praying to the God I scorn that it did not pursue me. I would have run all the way out of the mansion too, if only someone didn't get in my way. I collide with a body much larger than mine and fall back to the ground, head spinning as I look up at the stained glass. Turning my head to the side, I replaces the colorful sight with a pair of shiny black shoes. Fatigue fills every inch of my being, making me refuse to get up. Meanwhile, a familiar head of ginger looks down at me in bewilderment.
You really must look where you're going if you insist on running about. Do tell, where is the fire?
Oh, thank God you're here.
I know, dude, I feel safer with Johans around. Alone, Luke heard voices coming from the nearby ballroom. When he decided to investigate, he was assaulted by memories not of his own, and at the center is the same woman who appeared before him the day before.
I do hope you don't have a concussion. Can you count backwards from 15 to 1 for me?
Oh, fuck off, you wanker. Just help me up.
I do not think insulting me if you do have a concussion is a smart decision. But no, really. 15 to 1.
That woman, she was here. I told you to keep an eye out for her.
The other man offers an arm and pulls me to my feet then. Before I can storm off and pull him into the ballroom, he anchors me down with one hand on my shoulder and the other touching the back of my head.
No bruising or bump. that still does not mean that you don't have a concussion. If you are too lazy to count backwards, can you tell me your full name? Where are you currently?
We don't have Lucille Mitchell Wright, and this is the Ermengarde bloody fucking foyer. But we don't have time for this.
You must make and have the time to make sure you are not broken in the head. I have already sent security to scour the whole house when I saw you running out of the parlor, Dummkopf. If the woman is here, they will have her. You will only be slowing them down if you plan to interfere.
When he points that out, I realize there are guards starting to filter into the house as we speak, with some already searching the nearby rooms. Armed and uniformed men go in pairs, making it so that the house is in a flurry of activity. He lets go of me then, with the knowledge that I'm not going to keel over anytime soon.
I was hoping that you would be tired from dealing with the young miss on my return. Instead, you come running and hit your head. Such a troublesome boy. Shall I be carrying you to bed, too?
I can manage just fine on my own. Though I don't see how I can sleep until that woman is caught.
It'll be easier to keep you safe in your quarters. This is twice we've known the woman to break in. I think we can safely presume that you hold her interest.
He says it as a matter of fact in a tone that brook no argument. Not that I'll argue if it means I'm kept safe. The two of us hurry upstairs, though we remain watchful and wary of any potential threats to my person. We make it to the master bedroom without any trouble, though, and two of the security are left outside the door. No problems at all. Not until we get inside. Johan's eyes scan the room wildly, a look of dread on his usually stoic face. I don't understand for a moment. Looking around the bedroom, it's empty. But then I realize...
Where's Hannah? She came home with you from the hospital, didn't she?
She's supposed to be here. I sent one of the maids to accompany her here, to let her rest.
I feel the color drain from my face when he raises a hand to stop me from charging out there.
Stay.
I'm not staying in here while Hannah stays out there.
One of the guards will find her and bring her here.
And what if they don't? What if that woman gets to her first? What if she already has her?
That's not possible.
You can't promise that.
There's no second thought as I reach under my side of the bed and pull out one of my knives. I have no doubt that the other man can take me if we are both unarmed. But with this, I can even the field, or at least deter him from escalating the situation and risking hurting either of us.
I'm going out there to look for Hannah. And you're either with me or you aren't. I'm not risking Hannah, and I'm not leaving her alone.
Still, like a stubborn mule, he refuses to budge from the door. There's a withering look on him that I try to match. One that somehow I'm losing fast to, even with him not saying a word yet.
Can you see yourself in the mirror right now? You are in no proper state to go looking for anyone.
Again, sorry about that. Like I said, my computer's giving me problems, and it wants me to reset all my passwords and shit, but there's no point in doing that because I don't have a password on this computer. Like, at least not like, on the computer itself. Jesus.
If it will make you happy, I will do the looking. But please, and don't make me repeat this, stay where it's safe, where security can find you. We already have one person to be worried about. Please don't add another one to it.
Perhaps it is his tone. In spite of his general disdain for virtually everything that has to do with me, I'd like to think over the years he has grown to care for Hannah at least. As much as I loathe to admit this, I trust him with her safety over any servant in this house. So, I acquiesce.
You have 2 hours, Shirokin. I don't think it'll take that long to find one missing woman in this house. 2 hours. Any more than that, and I'm going out there.
Of course.
Despite his words, he lingers. If I didn't know better, I'd say he wants to make sure I get in that damn bed and sleep before he turns away from me. What am I, a child? Watching me and treating me like one? There's the reason why we will never get along.
Well, what are you waiting for?
And the knife?
The knife stays.
Very well.
Only then does he seem to get the hint. With a nod, he leaves. Locks and closes the door behind him. For a moment, I can still hear his voice while he gives the guards outside firm instructions. Then a hush as soon as he departs and his footsteps fade away. Bumping into Luke after his flight from the ballroom, Johann quickly ushers the paranoid man to his room, while the house's security looked for the trespasser, only to be greeted by a room devoid of Hana, who's supposed to have arrived with the butler. Oh shoot, did I not read that? Then, a hush as soon as he departs and his footsteps fade away, one that doesn't quite last. As quickly as the silence settles, lightning flashes across the sky, followed immediately by the loud boom of thunder. And that wanker strikes so dangerously close that I feel the electricity in the air. The power goes out a second later, and I feel as if I'm being mocked by whatever greater power there is. All is deathly still for a moment, but soon the rain starts again. Far heavier than the light drizzle from the morning, its pitter-patter hitting hard against the place's roof. Despite the noise, I find myself drawn to my bed, exhausted, hoping for a little nap. I'm safe here. Hana will be safe too. Shroken will find her, and when I wake, she'll be here. It does not take long. Once my head hits the pillow, it's a matter of minutes. Darkness claims me, bringing with it laughters and whispers of a twisted love from a time long ago.
Who are you? Stay away!
Sweet dreams, my love. It'll be over soon. Oh, fuck nuggets. Yet in spite of the uneasy voices and unwanted touches from the shadows lurking in the dark, rousing is a slow, arduous process. Difficult, every limb heavy with lead, no matter my aversion for the words they murmur in my ears or the sight of her horrid smile from afar, my body refuses to yield. I am at their mercy. Beyond fathomable reason, my consciousness refuses the pull of the waking world, choosing to linger in the pits of a dream, gradually drawing me deeper into unknown depths. Somehow, even if it might mean I may never open my eyes again, I allow them.
You do not belong there, my prince.
Not that I mind getting a few extra hours, of course. The bed's more than comfortable as it is, after an exhausting day yesterday. Babysitting Kylie, the stress of finding an intruder in my home. I think I deserve a little break every once in a while, especially after going through all that in a single day. I can only be on the receiving end of so many unacceptable things within the span of a few hours, you know? As gracious a host and person I am, my patience has its limits, too. Although there's still the problem with Hana. I haven't forgotten that, of course. That's why I hired Shroken. He's competent enough. He won't even last a day in my service if he's any lesser than those half-wits who think they can deceive me with sweet words. He's more than capable of working on his own without guidance. Let the butler take care of that little problem with Hana while I... Hana.
You do not need her.
Okay, that's where I gotta step up and say, fuck you, bitch!
I am here.
Fuck you, bitch!
We are here.
I don't like this Legion shit you think you got going.
This is where your home is.
No, it is not! Where you belong for the blood we share. Come back to us. How long has it been since? Johans has never taken this long before.
Surely there should have been an update by now. All right?
So why isn't there?
Please don't go.
Bloody hell, the cretins I've surrounded myself with.
And isn't that enough reason to force myself out of bed? It has always been the case. My eyes fly open, expecting the warm rays of sunshine filtering through the curtains, only to be greeted by a blinding flash of light and a loud boom of thunder that sounded nearly too close to my ears. Strong gusts of wind will occasionally burst in from the open balcony door, bringing in drizzles of cold rain into the room. I must have left it open earlier before dozing off. The carpets on the floor closest to it are already drenched. I was going to be so cross when she sees this. Not that it's an immediate problem. If anything, it's this power outage we should be minding first. The intruder's still at large. Steering through this darkness might be more fatal than multiple stab wounds or a gunshot to the chest.
Oh, great. The power's still out. That is exactly what I need right now. Yes.
Into this storm, of course. I mean, of course it is. Yeah, it's not like the ghost or all the other fucked up shit that's going on in your own home. I should have moved back to the penthouse to weather it in much more comfortable setting. Already I can hear the creaking groans of this old place as rain beats against the windows.
Johans, has someone been sent to check the circuit breaker yet?
No answer.
Johans?
Silence.
Shrokin! Someone! Anyone?
Still nothing, and my cordial mood is quickly dissipating.
Where are those idiots when you need them?
It's a real wonder why he hasn't fixed this yet. Was I really out that long? Can't be. It's only been a few hours after midnight. If the time of my wristwatch is anything to go by. Unless I've forgotten how to change it again after the last overseas trip a month ago. Although the delay is understandable if he went looking for Hana as promised. But bloody hell, my safety's also at stake here. Cursing, I stay still, letting my eyes try and adjust to the darkness while my hands fumble for my slippers. If that butler isn't going to fix this, I may as well order the security posted outside to do it. Probably just a blown fuse. Anyone with a brain can repair one. Grabbing my jacket, with footwear finally on, I make for the door. Although in haste, I pause briefly when a gleam catches my eye on one of my drawers. Underneath the clutter I've yet to organize, the muzzle of a gun peeks out. Hana has never openly commented my possession of it, but I know she does not approve of it, knowing the bloody firearms policy in this nation. Of course, I've never found much use for it in the 7 years we've been together, otherwise she would have already had it thrown out years ago. Doesn't mean it won't be useful right now. Without a second thought, I seize it, sending the stuff piling above it on the floor. Whatever. I'll get to it later. This blackout should be resolved first. Right next is my missing security detail, as it turns out.
Where the fuck did everyone go?
There were two, weren't there? Shrokin had two blokes posted to stand guard for the night. I might be panicking for a bit earlier. But I'm quite sure I haven't gotten delusional yet. What, did both of them decide to take a break? Because they think the master's already asleep and won't be looking for them?
Damn nitwits.
I know assassinations happen very rarely these days, and even less in a peaceful city like Luxborn, but bollocks! There's been a woman going in and out of this place uninvited, who may or may not want to put a knife in my back. Isn't that enough reason to stay alert? I'm fairly certain Shrokin won't just enlist their help just for the power outage, only to leave me unprotected. We have a difficult friendship, so to speak, but I doubt the man is an opportunist. I'm holding the lives of his family in my hands, after all. Really? Oh, I didn't know that. He knows what I'm capable of doing. He's not stupid enough to do anything that'll endanger them and save only himself. Is he seriously holding Hans's family hostage? Johan? Could it be that Johan's actually like a contract assassin or something? And that by Luke holding his family, quote-unquote, hostage, he is forcing Johan to, like, work as his butler? That would be fucked up, but I'd have to give him props for doing that. That's pretty fucking impressive. So where, then? Only my footsteps echo along the dark passage, and I am left gripping the handle of my pistol for some sort of comfort. Without proper lighting and with the storm still raging outside, the stories I've heard about this place seem to have some truth to it. Some. If I'm reaching, and wish to entertain myself for a bit, I'll say there might also be ghosts whispering in my ears, calling. Of course, it's just the wind and the trees rustling outside. Nothing good will come of allowing these thoughts to linger when problems are piling up in front of me one after another. Especially with what greets me once I get to the foyer. Though it's dark, the large windows illuminate the area much more easily than any of the other rooms. Luke Wright woke to a storm raging outside, and with his whole house eerily quiet, power was still off and his butler was nowhere to be found, even when called. Taking his gun with him, he went out to investigate, and in the foyer of his own home. And from where I stand at the top of the stairs, I can easily make out their forms, recognize them even. It's all gone crazy with these intruders come into my house. I'm no stranger to a cop playing dirty. Smart ones know that neither life nor criminals are going to play fair. If one of this WOG sort is in on this, I'm not surprised too. But Lily, the estate agent, she doesn't seem the sort. And Daisy too? What will Kylie think of her Miss Pink if the poor tyke finds out about this? Not to mention Mint. Hannah trusted her. I trusted her to be professional at the very least, for fuck's sake. To top it all off, they all have the nerve to look surprised when I announce my presence.
Well, well, what have we here? If I were any less sober, I'd say this is the beginning of a joke.
Oh my god, we're back! We're back to the moment! Ladies and gentlemen, we're back to the moment with Hannah again! Oh my god! Bloody trespassers. What is wrong with these people? Did they really think I'll be fine with them walking into my home like this? What are they even doing here? If I didn't know any better, they might also be behind Hannah's disappearance.
That's right, my love.
Oh god! They must have a motive.
Make them pay
And it better be a good one.
for all the wrong they've to us.
Or a bullet to the head is the least all of them will deserve.
Let's see. A photographer, a high school teacher, a real estate agent, an interior designer walk into a mansion.
Thunder cracks again, cutting me off. This time it sounds close enough that it nearly feels as if the windows and the ground itself are rumbling. All is deathly still for a moment. I don't let it stop me, however, as I slowly make my way towards them, taking one step at a time, relishing the expression of fear in their eyes. I suppose there's something ominous in this setting, with the heavy rain outside and the lack of light here. I kind of like it, to be honest. Adds something to the atmosphere. I suppose I must look like the villain now. But short of me getting close to them, a noise to my left distracts me, briefly halting my movements while curiosity takes over every murmurs in my head. And it's a good thing, perhaps, that I did, because as soon as I look up, I see him. Another trespasser. Great. Just as he's about to jump from the furniture that has somehow ended up piled and blocking the door to the parlor. What happened there? Did he really think it's alright to do that in other people's house? Lout.
Teach him, my lord. Put him in his place.
My hand's already moving before any rationale can stop me. My fingers firm at my gun when I release the safety and take it from it and take aim. Not at him, but at his friends. They are his, aren't they? Why else would they be here together? Doesn't matter. He won't let the people he cares about be harmed. My finger's on the trigger, more than itching to shoot, but I hold back. Sure, I could have simply taken aim at him. But more than seeing him bleed, I want to see the expression on his face once he realizes everything he's doing is futile. He's trapped. Lives are in my hand. His life's in my hand.
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two. People these days, in my own home. Can you believe it? I feel so left out.
I can tell the exact moment the realization dawns on him. A short second of his body freezing and blood draining from his face as soon as his feet hit the floor and he looks up. He's already a prey trapped by his own recklessness.
Pathetic.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen to us. There's something going on here.
Well, obviously. Why else would people be trespassing in my home? What about little Lily over there then? What's your excuse? Checking back if your clients are doing okay? Is that it? Is this what this is?
We're doing good, by the way.
Sir, please.
Oh, please, what?
Becca's right, sir. We need to get out of this place. You need to leave.
Tut, not a good enough excuse, darling. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight. Don't worry, I might consider pressing lighter charges for the woman. Can't say the same for the rest of you. But really now, I swear the people of this city need to be taught the meaning of privacy. This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
It's just a passing remark, of course. I'm not stupid enough to do something that'll bring negative attention to myself. Reputation and all that. I just can't risk it. The thought of having dead bodies here, ones that I'm not even responsible for, they're the ones who are trespassed. It's already quite too much. I'd literally be overkill, especially for someone like me. Nevertheless, joke or not, Feathers wastes no time drawing his gun at the side, at the slight wave of my own. Even if he knows it's already too late. Still, he glares at me. Still, he fights back.
Now, Feathers. Manners. You're in no position to be pointing that gun at people.
There's no desperation in him like I'm hoping, just an annoyance flickering shortly before being hidden underneath a challenge. The likes of him are the kind of people I hate the most. Even with their failures always glaring down at them, mocking every worthless move they make, they have the impudence to stare people in the eye.
Why don't you put yours down first, and then we'll talk about manners.
Oh, he talks back. The gall! You know, your kind pisses me off so much.
Annoying, most of the time, like a damn pest you can't be rid of. But to some degree it is commendable. I'll give him that. After all, we're almost the same in that regard. Almost. I'm still the better person, of course. I mean, of course, yeah. I'm such a right-not douche nozzle, aren't I? I have a firearm that I haven't shot in years. It'll probably misfire or malfunction, because I haven't tested it. Seriously, if you haven't fired a gun for 7 years, there could be something wrong with it. Same time, it could just be absolutely fine, but you never really know. He tells me to put the gun down, but I see no reason why I should. I'm a homeowner. I'm a homeowner. In defense of my own home. I have the right to, I'd like to think. Questionable permit of firearms aside. Not like I wanted this. But I'm already high-strung and their presence does not help. Bloody peasants. I can never seem to figure out how their minds fully work. Take this one, for example. Despite the pride brimming in him, how he matches my glare with his own, he slowly lowers his pistol after a long second. Not in surrender. The tense set in his shoulders tells me as much, but the closer he can get to lowering his own ego in favor of something I can't quite place. Interesting. I gotta admit, I'm almost disappointed.
As you should be, my lord.
I've expected him to hold until one of us shoots the other. Can't say it'll be more exciting that way. A bullet inside any part of my body isn't something I'd like to have on a bad day like today, or any day for that matter. But surely he can be, but it can surely be predictable of him. And I like predictable. They're the kinds of people who are easiest to deal with, no matter the situation. With them, there's no second guessing what they'll do. He shoots, I shoot, one of us dies, the other walks away. Nothing complicated. Nothing requiring much brain power, just muscle memory and who's the better shooter. End of story. Yet, here he is, dragging in a deep breath and setting aside the only thing protecting him. I can easily shoot him this way, be done with this whole farce of a conversation. Instead, I find myself listening. A concession for a person who, in another life, would have also become the person I am today had his circumstances allowed it. Damn shame. We might have gotten along.
Listen, Wright, I need you to...
But alas,
You broke into my house, and somehow, you expect me to listen like a good little boy. Are you a bit touched in the head, Feathers? I'm not the one breaking laws here.
Look here, fucker. If I wanted you dead, I could have done it so many times already. In fact, I can easily shoot you down right here, right now, and you won't be able to do a damn thing, even with that gun.
a meeting of two prideful blokes will never go well, whatever lifetime it is. I can only laugh at his audacity, his lack of shame and fear even facing the business end of my pistol.
You know what I'm thinking right now? In another lifetime, we would have probably gotten along well.
The best truth I can offer him. Not many people, those who have slighted me in particular, live this long to see it.
And he should be grateful. You're already gracious enough, allowing him to stand in your presence like this.
Okay, fuck off, creepy voice! Yes, especially when he has a lot to answer. Preferably right now, because as generous as I have been so far, my patience has its limits. My amusement can only last for so long. In 2 steps, I'm standing in front of him, grabbing him by the collar and resting the cold muzzle of the eagle against his temple. Well, that was voiced earlier. Why isn't it voiced now? Ashton!
Luke, no!
Hey, now you two, I'm sure we can all talk about this first.
He'll end up a pretty smear on the wall this close.
Teach this loud a lesson.
What is it that you people really want with me? This is the second time this week, and I'm really getting weary of this little game. Did the NCA send you to apprehend me? Or has somebody paid you off to kill me? Which one is it, Feathers? Mind you, my arm's getting tired. Better answer quick if you don't want to beat the business end of this gun.
And he knows it. Of course he does. Hitman or not, he has been trained, judging purely from his stance. Not many bother to be cautious as him. One glimpse at my handgun's safety earlier is all it took for him to see I mean business. Similar. Too similar. We're too alike in so many ways, in so little ways it's funny. Down to the fact he doesn't even flinch, no matter how heavy the threats in my words are. Even knowing how one flick of my finger on the trigger will be enough to end his sorry life. He should have caved in by now, started begging, like so many others before him. Instead, he throws more vitriol, adding more kindling to a fire already burning.
I'm not with NCA. I'm just here to help. There's something else in this house, and we're all in danger. You have to believe me, right? You need to let us go. You need to get out of here before it's too late. If you want to keep your sorry ass alive, you'll listen to people with more brain cells than you.
Dining it further than I can help but return it to him with equal fervor. We don't need him, my love.
Why, you insolent!
We both decide to move in that moment. Both our bodies tensing, each of us racing to get ahead of the other. However, before we can even get a head start, a voice unexpectedly rings above the chaos about to ensue.
Luke, help me. Please.
I've always been cautious and careful, cutting off trouble's head before things can escalate if I'm able. That's why I deal with the likes of Harvey, Suarez, and Johan. For all who we are, for all the enemies the likes of us can make, such a thing has never happened before, because I do everything to make sure it doesn't happen. So to see Hana in danger, I don't quite know how to feel or what to do. Of all the times for there to be a hostage situation, if this is even one, why now? Good fucking God, what is going on here?
Help me. Please. Please make it stop.
I think death would be preferable if my sense of self-preservation was shot to high hell. It would deprive me of choice, of responsibility in the matter. And I don't want to think of how fast my heart beats, so that I barely hear anything other than my own heartbeat and her pleading.
Please. They're in my head. Screaming. It hurts so much.
What do I do? What can one do against something holding your life in their hands? The woman that looks more monster than man. When the woman's expression turns into one of amusement and her laughter fills the air, I call to her. I want to call her out on it. There's a rage simmering just beneath my skin. When my own scream dies in my throat, all I'm able to muster is a pathetic croak. She laughs, as if this is all some sick joke. My breathing becomes a bit too shallow for my liking. I feel like I'm on a precipice where one wrong move could lead to someone dying. This is crazy. All of it.
Luke, help me, please. I can't.
And something in me snaps. The switch in my head that wants to go one way or the other. Oh my god. I am gonna do what any husband should do and demand that she be released. What am I doing? Why am I even hesitating? Yeah! Full up with Hana! I won't go so far as to claim that I'm any sort of decent human being, but this is Hana, my wife I'm talking about here. What sort of husband, what sort of father would I be if I just stood by idly while she was in danger? That doesn't change the fact this is all fucking insane, of course. Having all these intruders is crazy. To think about it is, this thing is crazy. I can hardly clarify it as a person in my eyes. Perhaps a maggot that needs to be crushed under my shoe, just like the rest of this sorry lot. But a person? Hardly. I care for none of it. They don't matter. All that matters is that Hana and my children are in danger. But cold pours over me, freezes me in place once I try to make demands. I have to take deep breaths, grip my teeth, and steel my fist for to even find the courage to speak up.
Let go of her! Don't hurt her! Whatever it is you want! Just don't you dare hurt her!
And if my voice isn't as firm as I'd like, it doesn't matter. I will beg and plead if I have to. On my knees, bend my fucking proud neck and maybe even break it just to make sure she's safe. It's not her life alone that is in danger. Our children's lives are on the line. Even mine, perhaps. Because I don't know what I would do if anything happened to Hana. I will plead for the woman who will be the mother of my children. The cold stillness is gone from my body, and my very skin feels like it's on fire. And I have to shout, scream at her when Hana continues to cry out in pain.
What do you want? Money? Is that it? I give you however much you want.
Luke, please make it stop. I want it to stop.
Just stop whatever it is you're doing to her. Can't you see she's hurting?
I cannot stand for this.
Let go of her. Now!
I say it with such ridiculous conviction, and of course she won't listen. Why would she? She has the upper hand. There's no reason for her to do as I ask. But her voice is but a whisper and deathly slow. I'm hard-pressed to hear it over the pounding of my heart in my ears. She speaks, the woman from the gardens, and the servant girl from the ballroom, from the hallucination, vision, memories, whatever they were. A hush settles over the room as we listen. Do you really wish to be with her? There are no second thoughts.
More than anything. So please, let her go.
Though her expression doesn't change, I have this most awful feeling that it wasn't the answer she was looking for. I can see how the woman's fingers tighten around Hana's throat, hear the hitch in her breath, and I fear that I've made the worst decision in speaking out. I didn't think she will listen. Yet she does. A hand on Hana's back sends her falling down the stairs. I move to catch her, and that sends us sprawling at the floor of the stairs. Oh my god, she's alive! I did it! Right? I did do it, right? I saved her? I done good? Angered, Luke demanded for Hana's release from the woman. Although the woman eventually released his wife, there was anger and contempt in her face. All of a sudden, the whole house shifted. In a blink, blood and gore was everywhere. Oh, that's what's coming! With my back to the ground and her on top of me, the pain doesn't even register in my head. All I can worry about is Hana and the baby's well-being as I pull the both of us off the ground and away from the stairs. Away from her!
Are you alright, Hana? Are you hurt?
It takes much too long for my liking before she speaks. All she's able to do for a moment is whimper in pain, a hand to her throat. And when she does manage to speak, her voice is far too faint along with the hold she has on my arm. It's terrifying to see her like this, and to think I nearly lost her.
We are fine, Luke. I'm sorry. Just give me a moment.
For a moment, we forget. But
You deserve each other.
just hearing her voice triggers something in Hana, and she starts to tear up. Her face contorts in pain and fear. But I grab her by the shoulders to keep her in place so that she can see me and only me, so that I can only see her too.
Look at me, Hana. Look, I'm here. You're safe. I won't let her hurt you again. Do you understand? Just breathe.
I don't know exactly what in bloody hell is going on, and I can't find it in me to care. Whoever these people are and whatever they're here for. These are not acceptable conditions for a pregnant woman. For all I know, this is all some done charade to get to get to me. All the times I have seen the woman before could have all been an act to get me, to get under my skin. And to think they dare hurt Hana. For all the fear that I have left, seeing her touch Hana, I can only think of her as an actress in grotesque makeup. My hand still shakes, the fear not having quite gone. Anger fills me as I look at the woman and a sneer on my face.
How dare you! I don't care who you are, but how dare you touch Hana! I want you out of my house! Out before I call the police and have you put away for the rest of your miserable life! And that goes for all of you!
I would be happy to leave, but I don't think we're gonna be able to, buddy. I hold my ground firm and strong with declaration. But the nerve of her, she just laughs in my face! A terrible, dreadful laugh that makes me feel as if there are ants crawling on my skin and maggots squirming into my ears.
You are telling me to get out of your house. You threatened to lock me up.
She laughs and she laughs.
What's so funny? What are you laughing at? None of this is funny!
She persists. It's almost like her voice is in my head.
Oh, no different. No different. You're all the same. You can all suffer together.
Oh, God! And that is when everything turns to complete and utter shite. Oh, God! Hey! At least we're all here together! It's a slow thing. A whisper more than a bang as darkness creeps into every corner of the room. The walls shudder and groan. Blood runs from the ceiling, crawls down the walls, and stains the floor. It feels as if life itself is being sucked from the house, slowly but surely. The beauty of the place is gone, with only the dead, decaying remains of a mansion left in its wake. I don't have to wonder if it's just the foyer that's become this this nightmarish place. I can already hear it. Gone are the growls of thunder and the lashes of rain and wind against the foyer's windows. All of it has been replaced by a more grating sound. A cacophony of voices from nowhere and everywhere, echoing throughout the now horrid walls. Voices that neither belong to us nor the people who live here.
What's going on?
All throughout the house, shouts of alarm and surprise ring out, a mirror to the horror creeping up on each of us. Who wouldn't be shocked? This is insane! Even Daisy, feisty woman that she is, trembles at the sight of it, clinging desperately to Lily, while Steel and Feathers stand protectively in front of the other two. Brave of them, I have to admit, to put themselves in the front line like that. Though it doesn't necessarily mean they don't feel the same fear as the rest of us. Something I don't blame them for. Seems to be no end in sight to this insanity. If anything, this only feels like it's the beginning of the end.
Help me! Oh my god! Please, somebody! Anybody! Who are you? Stay away!
No. Stay away.
screams fill the mansion. She laughs all the while, a harsh, agonizing sound that goes on for what feels like forever. Until there is nothing but silence, her horrid smile, the pale hands reaching out to me, calling, beckoning, pleading. I'm terrified. I really am, like I should be. But I have never been one to truly stay afraid. I've long learned that fear will not get me anywhere. Cowering in a corner doesn't keep me safe, and it will not keep me alive, not like rage does. I've learned to use this burning hate inside of me to survive. There is no difference now.
Stay away from me!
Why? Why do you wish to leave? This is where you belong, my lord. Remember the blood we share? This is your home. Don't you remember? You promised to return, to stay together with me, with us, with people no different from you.
What is she talking about, Luke? What does she mean?
Don't listen to her, she lies. I promised no such thing to anyone. Hannah, you're the one who bought this house. How should I know what she's babbling about? I never even wanted to be here in the first place.
A terrible case of mistaken identity. That must be it. I'm quite sure of it. I don't know this woman, this monster. Why would I say that to someone like her? In my entire life, I've only made promises and kept sincere promises to a mere two people, Hannah Evans and Eleanor Chandler. No one else. The rest of those who claim I promised anything to them can go fuck themselves. Bloody hell! I may enjoy the company of women, but I am not an idiot to start spouting such nonsense to anyone. A line must be drawn, especially if I am to keep myself alive. Yet she still goes on, insists, making me appear a liar in front of these people.
Of course you still deny it. Have you truly forgotten? You haven't changed, I see. Still a deceiver.
She's lying!
You see, my love, nothing has changed. Still no difference, you and I. Just like the rest of us. Just like every single soul in this putrid wreck. You've waited for so long. You can hear them, yes. Their pleas, their calls, their invitation. Come, my lord. The house seeks its master.
The monster reaches out again. Her hands a gory, abhorrent sight, along with that smile spread across her face. My body's already moving on instinct, stumbling back one step at a time in desperate bid to be away from her. Anything to put distance between me and this vile creature. No matter what she says, I am nothing like her. I need to get out of this house. Out of this country, preferably. Take Hannah with me. We can start a new life out of this dreadful city, start a family. There's nothing here for us. Her parents are long gone. Nothing to keep us tied to this place. Shulkin has likely been taken down by this woman. He's not what binds me to this wretched city. I only need Hannah. We can leave. We can...
Careful, Luke.
My foot steps on something, sending me sliding onto my back, flat on the floor. Beside me, a paper. A familiar one flutters down. It's this thing again from the open house. Though it feels less like a gimmick and more like a threat. What with recent events. It must have fallen from one of the peasants in the commotion earlier. For a moment, they appear conflicted to see in my hands, but wisely keep their opinions to themselves, leaving the damn thing to simply bear its grisly message for everyone in the room to see. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. Isn't this it? What they've been telling us? Why, everything in my life has gone to shite? Because of some stupid old letter? An invitation indeed. One I am not willing to accept. Not any time. From the top of the stairs, the creature moves again, drawing my attention back to her. Her gait remains slow, awkward as she walks forward, that smile never leaving her. But I won't give her the chance. I am not dying here. I certainly am not giving myself to a hideous creature like her either. adrenaline kicks in, and despite panic gasps and worried glances from Daisy's friends, I pay them no mind. I reach for the main door and, without warning, it slams open, revealing not the mansion grounds that I am expecting. Before my mind can even comprehend what's happening, black tendrils have already coiled tightly around my mins, dragging every person in the foyer into the room. None of us even gets a scream when the darkness completely envelops us before the doors closing.
Understand where your place is now, my love. You belong here. Is it so difficult to grasp? We've been waiting.
Oh, Jesus. There's a moment of panic when the feeling of the tendrils around my limbs finally dissipates. As soon as my eyes adjust to the darkness of the room, I'm on my feet. I'm reaching for my knife and holding it out, watching, waiting for every movement. Okay. You have a gun. Why are you reaching for the knife? Using it as a way to put distance between me and those peasants. Who knows what they'll do now? We're all desperate to get out of this house. There's only 7 of us in this room. 4 of them friends at that. I cannot trust these people not to turn on me. Bloody hell, even Hana's giving me the same looks as them now. Though Mint has already gone loon, crouched in a corner muttering to herself, I can't really say anyone's safe from her. If anything, she's the one I should watch out for. I cannot trust anyone. Not anymore. Not after this. Despite the pleading looks Lily shoots my way, while they all huddle in the corner behind steel and feathers. But I have to remind myself that even people like her are capable of doing the unpleasant. She's only human after all. It's never an excuse. Why, even Hana has her cunning, manipulative moments, though she does it much subtler than I. Why else would Lily show this letter to us that day, if not to save herself? I guess that backfired on her now that she and her friends are also stuck here. Still, I have every right to be livid. Everything I've built has fallen apart. All because these people came into our lives.
You! All of you! This is all your fault! If I've died to this bloody case, I'm taking you all down with me!
Put that knife down, Lucille.
Hey now, Mr. Wright. I know the situation ain't good, but we have to calm down. We're all in the same boat here. You shut your mouth! If it weren't for you, for this letter, for all of you, none of this would have happened!
And blaming everyone in this room isn't going to get us out of this place. Please put that knife down, darling. You might hurt yourself.
Are you taking their side? You're also stuck in this nightmare, Buttercup! What about the children? Aren't you the least bit worried about them? That creature is out to get us, and you're still defending these people!
I'm not defending anyone, Luke. I'm just trying to be reasonable when you're clearly not.
Oh, of course you're not. You're just the one who bought this bloody mansion to begin with. If I didn't know any better, you did this on purpose!
Someone needs to slap him, dude.
Why, no. Why would I ever do that? This was only meant to be an anniversary gift. For you. For us. For the family we're going to have.
Right, anniversary gift. Oh, here's your gift, darling. Oh, by the way, there's a curse included in that package. I hope that's all right. Are you really that eager to get rid of me, Hana? Because if that's what you've been meaning to do all this time, you might as well just put a knife in my back while I'm...
Suddenly, Hana steps up and slaps the knife away from my hand. Said knife slides uselessly under the table, out of my reach. Before my mind registers what's happening, a sharp blow explodes in the sides of my head, sending me reeling backwards. Yeah! Soul Fist! Ha! God, I want that as the thumbnail for this episode. She merely stands before me afterwards, without even batting an eye, glaring at me as if she might just rip my head off in an instant. Sometimes I forget.
Don't you dare, Luke. Don't you dare imply I've ever thought of you that way.
That Hana is never the weak woman I believed her to be. How did I come to think of her as such? She used to be someone I can look up to, isn't she? When you look at her now, the way she stands tall facing a man like me, the same way she has done all those years ago, I can't help but think. Am I not responsible for taking that part of herself away from her? Enjoy your time as Mrs. Luke Wright. What a bunch of shite. Realizing this, I can only look away when she reaches up and places a hand on my face. Gone is the anger in it, and only a soft smile remains while she looks at me with a shine in her eyes. The 7 years we've been together, I've only been nothing but a piece of shite to her. Yet here she is, still smiling at me the way she has done so many years ago. It's impossible not to feel like complete and life should be just like complete and utter trash like this. She has an uncanny way of doing that to me, really, especially when she takes my hand in hers and places it right on her tummy. Right where 2 tiny babies are still growing. Ours.
Love, look at me. We've already talked about this. If we are still going to do this, it has to be the 2 of us. I will stay with you, but things are going to have to change if we want this to work. We can't keep doubting each other like this.
Not until we find a way out of here.
I'm sure we can. Maybe they know something we don't.
You're going to rely on them for that? Those peasants who brought us on us?
Keep talking about us like that, and see if any of us here will keep you out of this place.
Yeah, we'll take her with us. I like her. She can come with us. You're an asshole.
Rebecca, stop!
No, don't keep going.
All of you, stop this!
To hear Lily speak out loud, I can't say I'm not surprised. She has always given me the impression of someone so meek from the moment I've met her, either from her inexperience or her whole station in life. She's never struck me as someone fitting to be a real estate agent. Until now. Quietly, she puts herself between me and Daisy, cutting with other scathing words we've yet to hurl at each other. The way she glares at me reminds me of the way my own mum would look at me. Particularly when I've done something wrong. And it's not a stare she's unused. It's not a stare she's unused to showing. She has done this before, probably to a younger sibling. Huh. If she only sees us as a pair of squabbling kids and not 2 mature adults, well, that's only to be expected. No doubt that's how she sees us. For a long moment, there's only silence in the room. Steel, the big oaf, doesn't even dare break it. Neither does Feathers. With both merely watching us, a bunch of wimps, those men. Not that it matters when Lily starts speaking again, after some of the anger and tension has lifted from the room.
Stop this, please! With or without that damn piece of paper,
A deep breath. An exhale. And then she closes her eyes, a crease forming between her eyebrows while she grips her hand tightly in front of her.
We still would have ended up in this mess.
The atmosphere that descends into the room right after that admission is anything but pleasant. Can I call it that? An admission? It seems like it from the way her eyes nervously flick between her friends and I. She appears to know more than she lets on, and how she makes herself appear smaller after dropping that bomb on us doesn't quite sit well with me. And patience is something I don't have the luxury of having right now and bestowing upon other people. What else does this girl know? What else is she not telling us? Because from the look of this, even her friends have no idea what she's talking about. Unwilling to wait, I grab her arm before she retreats without explanation, waving the letter in front of her, in my hand in front of her.
Ow! Sir, you're hurting me!
Hey, hands off her, right?
Fuck off, Feathers. I have questions for your friend, and she better have the answers.
Luke, will you stop taking it out on every single person?
Your friend is hiding something, Daisy.
She struggles for a moment, but my hold eventually forces her to look up at me. Fear and uncertainty spread across her features, especially when her eyes land on the damned paper. As much as I want to be considerate right now, I want answers.
What do you mean, Lily?
I'm not sure about it.
Don't give me that, you know something!
Ow! Please, sir. I know the paper's useless, okay?
At the mention of the letter, all of a sudden, Mint stands. I've almost forgotten she's here, her ramblings having faded away in the shouting. Without warning, she snatches the paper out of my hand. It's a miracle it didn't rip right then and there, but the way she glares at it, I think she may want to do exactly that.
We should have gotten rid of this thing! We should have burned it at the first opportunity we got!
No, even if we rip it to shreds, it won't do anything. I think...
You don't know what I've seen, Santos. There were children! Victims! All because they had no idea what this thing will do to them. Oh God, those poor souls! They were screaming and begging before she...
Then what about those people they mentioned in the news lately? All those who died? My coworkers? The open house clients? None of them had seen it. Even Rose. And yet they're all dead. I should know. That letter has been with me since I picked it up. And I swear I didn't make copies of this thing. Even if I wanted to save myself, I wouldn't do that to my friends. Or anyone.
Is that what the trip to BRC was for?
Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you guys until I was certain. None of you believed me the first time. I had to find proof.
And yet we're all here! Are you taking me for a fool, Lily?
I have to go with whiskey on this. Who knows how many has already seen this before you found it? This cursed thing has to go!
We would have ended up here either way. Maybe? I really don't know.
Just explain, woman! I'm sorry, I'm getting tension-filled here. I'm running, like, way over time, I know, but I want to get to the end of this.
Sir, please. All I know is that paper isn't the reason why all of this is happening. There's something else that...
This place.
Steele has been quiet this entire time. The sound of him talking, however, whispered it is, still catches all of us off guard. We all pause, turning to him with likely the same question in our eyes.
What?
Oh, I just thought, I mean, it's a straight thought, don't take my word for it.
No, it might be something. What about this place, Zach?
There's still a moment where he hesitates, but Lily's urging eventually spurs him into speaking.
I was just thinking, maybe Ash is right for why you went here. This is where Bella found that thing, right? And then this.
It was just a hunch, Zach. We were not getting anywhere. But just because we went here doesn't mean we will find all the answers we need here. Hell, now we're stuck here.
Regardless, Steele pauses, allows Lily to remember. Soon enough, whatever it is dawns on her, and her face lights up like with something like hope. Of all things in this nightmare, hope! Her head snaps up and she reaches for Steele's arm to give it a squeeze. A reassurance? Or a confirmation? The meaning is lost even to Daisy, who glares at them, baffled.
Belle, what are you... Becca, it's this place. Think about it.
What? You mean, like, burn this place down?
I still think we should get rid of this letter before we start thinking of destroying a place with some historical value.
The place with historical value is evil! Why don't we just burn the house down? Purification by fire! I am cool with that!
What? No?
Yes!
We are not burning a multi-million-pound mansion, you peasants! I just spent a fortune on this!
Burn the place to the ground or die! Take your pick, dude!
Seriously, Luke, are you really more worried about that?
Buttercup, marching, millions. It's going to take years getting all that money back.
Well, you certainly won't be getting any of that money if you're dead. Really, Luke? Is that more important than your life?
Bloody fucking hell! Not only do I have trespassers on my property, but they're also arsonists!
How dare they suggest something like that? Bloody peasants! My head's already aching just listening to them. To think this is all the solution they can come up with. I should have just stabbed them all and made a run for it! It doesn't help that with each second we spend talking, the crazier this whole place gets. Voices have become louder and somehow sounding more vicious. If things in this room start floating, mark my words, I will fucking flip out! Furious, paranoid, trapped in a mansion with people he barely knows, Luke Wright threatened to take them all down with him. Luckily, before the hysterical man could harm anyone, Hana punched him in the face. And they may not be thinking of it right now, but eventually they'll turn on me. Such is the nature of humans. Better find a way out of this place as soon as possible if I want to stay alive. Fuck, I still have so much to do. None of our choices seem sound, but who knows? We don't understand a shite about this place. Might as well try everything, yeah? Whatever works. If I also have to be the one to make that bloody decision, so be it. Less room for errors, with the only sane one doing the thinking. On the off chance I'm wrong, well, they suggested it. Oh my god! And sadly, that's what we're gonna have to call it for this episode. Good goddamn, I have to decide between burning the letter or burning the mansion. None of this seems like a good idea. Like, neither of these options seem good, but like, I am definitely leaning toward just burning the whole mansion. Because the letter doesn't seem like it's gonna affect, like, very much, just burning the letter. I think that purification by fire, man, gotta burn down the whole fucking house. That's what we gotta do. But we're gonna have to do that in the next episode. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you being here with me. Holy fuck! We're gonna burn down a mansion! I was not expecting that! That's gonna be fucking crazy. This whole game is fucking crazy. But you know what? I am enjoying the fuck out of it, and next time we're gonna burn down a fucking mansion. So, thanks again, and until next time, have yourselves a beautiful day, my beautiful, beautiful viewers!